This is an old Yard Pro 130A gas trimmer. It's a curved shaft. It's not a commercial grade trimmer. And the problem with this trimmer is someone disassembled it, took this housing off, and disassembled the starter recoil assembly, which fits right in here. And what happened is they unsprung the starter recoil spring, and they weren't able to wind it back up and get it back in the housing. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you how I rewind this spring and fit it back into this housing right here. Alright, so what I need to do is I need to rewind this spring and get it down to a diameter that's small enough to where it will fit back into this housing. Spring fits in here. Once I get the spring down to a small diameter, I'm just going to use a zip tie to hold it together. But I want to make sure that this part of the zip tie is facing out so it doesn't interfere with installing the spring. So I need to know which side of the spring goes first inside of the housing. Is it this side or this side? And I can determine that by if you take your pulley for your pull rope, and this part of the spring fits inside of this notch here to apply a turning force to the pulley. And if I put this pulley in on this side, you can see that that's how the spring fits inside of that notch. So I know that this side of the spring is the side that first goes into the housing. Alright, so now I'm ready to wind up the spring, and I'm just going to be using my hands to manually pull the spring tight. I find it easy with my hands because I'm able to control the spring better. And the springs on these trimmers and chainsaws are small enough to where I have the hand strength to do it. So you just wind the spring up like this, pull it tight, and then just wrap it around itself. And I just keep repeating that process until the spring is a small enough diameter where it will fit inside the housing. So this will probably take me a couple of minutes, so I'm going to turn the video off, and when I have this down to size, I'll be right back. So you can see I have the spring down to a small enough size that I can work with, that will fit inside of the housing. And I know that this side is the side that fits into my housing first, so I'm going to take my zip tie and wrap it around the spring and pull it tight. Then I can work the zip tie towards the end of the spring here, and also take some needle nose pliers and help keep it tight. So now I'm ready to insert this back into the housing. Alright, this notch, or this part of the spring here, fits inside of the notch in the housing right here. So just take this, place the spring down in there. I'm going to use some needle nose pliers to position it and get it into place. Now I've got the spring in there. I'm going to kind of hold the spring down with my thumb, and I'm going to cut that. Hold on, I'll be right back. I got to reposition this. Hopefully you can see that with good lighting. I'm holding down the spring with my fingers, and I'm going to cut that zip tie. And let the spring unwind inside of the housing. I can pull that zip tie out. And the spring is now in place inside the housing. Hopefully here's some better lighting. You can see where the spring wraps around the part of the housing here. That's the hard part. When you first insert the spring, you need to get this part of the spring around this part of the housing. Then you just press it all into place, hold it down, cut the zip tie, let it unravel in place, and then you can, as you're holding it down, just pull the zip tie out. A couple of things I want to mention before I close. I always recommend that you use a repair manual when you're doing repair work, but sometimes it's impossible to find repair manuals for equipment, especially this older stuff like this Yard Pro 130A. I'm not even sure a repair manual exists for this thing. Another thing is when you go to choose your zip tie to hold your spring together, you would think that a smaller zip tie would work better because it takes up less room, but actually this will not hold the spring together tight enough. It will, but it will slowly unwind, and it kind of makes it harder to install the spring, so it's actually easier if you use a bigger zip tie. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it helps you out with whatever repair work you're doing, and thanks for watching.